Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Black metal hails from Spain. This time the band in review is from Norway, however. And before I get any further with this, I must say I'm kind of overwhelmed these days by the name Gnavhòl in the band's name. Now there is Gnavhòl, there is Nordjevel, there is Gnavhòl Cult, and who knows how many other devils in the play when it comes to Norway. Gnavhòl really seems to be the word dark of 2020s. I mean, think about all the bands with Dark Funeral, Dark Throne, and whatever back in the days. And those jokes aside, let's focus on the album in question, the album of the hour. This is by a band that was founded in 2015 and now out with 3 albums. Very consistent in terms of when it comes to releases. I mean, technically speaking, every 3 years a new album appears. 2016, 2019 and 2022. This is Gnavhòl. What makes very curious this one, however, is that the lineup. Now, of course, music always comes first, and doesn't really matter who plays in the band, but because these kind of things are interesting not only to me, but a lot of people out there, I want to point it out, and this explains the quality really, really well. Now, color me a fan if you will, but just let's take a look at these names. First of all, we have vocalist Döds Emerald from various other bands. I remember, for example, Döds Vanger, which is also kind of an international supergroup, being a quality band. Then we have Dominator on drums, and man, he has a lot of good bands and very, very skilled guy, Niels Fjellström, who is, which I got to actually interview with Distractor last year because I did Murk Skog interview in Oslo for Inferno 2022, and these guys, not only being humble and down to earth, are really, really great talents when it comes to their instruments. Distractor, a skilled dude with guitars, really nice dude. Niels also with the drums, and man, if you ever listen to bands, for example, Murk Skog or other bands where these guys played, I mean, Destructor actually played in Morbid Angel, they are as talented and skillful as to come. Now, this is not to say that the bass player, Decepticon here, is without talent. Obviously, he is talented as well, but I guess these other bands are kind of overshadowing him because, they have a lot of experience along the road and, of all these bands. So when you put up a lineup with these kind of guys, you really can't expect anything but quality, right? Now, obviously, the thing is that the lineup used to be somewhat different. If you pay attention to these guys when they joined the band, there are a couple of original members, more or less, from 2015, and the other guys are 2018. That still means, however, that they have been in the band for quite some time, and now with 3 albums in, they have been part of the band for quite some time. So, based on these facts, it's kind of safe to say, yeah, you can expect some kind of a quality work. Now, where Murkskog, for instance, is focused on technicalities and fierce death metal at the same time, Nordjevel is quite different. However, there are some overlapping similarities with these bands, even though one is death metal and one here is black metal. But for instance, the tempo and these fierce guitar parts, they are somewhat similar. I mean, obviously, the end result is once again somewhat different, obviously, given the different genres and all, but there are things which kind of can get you remind one another. But what is more important is this album is actually a good one. Now, I had some doubts. Some people might say, why you have doubts when the band is supergroup and all? The thing here is, whenever somebody is speaking up, like praising a band, I'm like, yeah, it's probably good, but is it really that good? And because I tend to be way too often somewhat disappointed in lots of bands and releases, especially new bands and side projects and all, where it seems like talent is wasted because it's tend to be another side project instead of something very, very focused one. You know, you know me. I am like, yeah, it's good, but it's not that good really. Now, this is on the other hand, a disappointment in the opposite direction. I'm disappointed by my own expectations and finding out that this album is actually good and going to my own personal CD collection is something that I can be really happy about. Especially that now it seems, hopefully by the time that this album is, this review is out, that is, I can finally say, yeah, Nordjevel interview is happening. It seems like it's happening in at Inferno 2023, and let's keep our thumbs up because now this album just made me more interested in the band than what I was previously. Why so? Because the music is good. Isn't that obvious? Now, if I wanted to be a little bit mean guy, I would say there is nothing, absolutely nothing new to this album, Gnavhòl. The thing here is, one could say this is a kind of a Norwegian take of Marduk. Now, this is a mere coincidence, and I don't usually mention my own bands when it comes to, reviews and all that stuff because it kind of feels wrong and kind of a odd way to, advertise one own band. But when I was listening to this band, because first of all, it's very, very fast tempo, most parts, but there are slower parts as well. And because there's a lot of melody and definitely leaning towards 1990s in the terms of songwriting, not only in terms of Norway, but also Swedish, and my own band Nightside actually happens to have a lot of similar qualities when it comes to music. One could say, yeah, there are parts where it sounds like Marduk, but one could actually say, yeah, it also has some kind of homage to Mayhem's, the Mysteries era and all that stuff. Now, this is very, very funny because when I was listening to this, I was like, okay, it actually sounds a little bit like nowadays Nightside, demo 2023, which is not yet released, but once you hear it, you kind of will understand the similarities I'm talking about. And then I realized, okay, this becomes really goofy because I'm actually wearing my own band's T-shirt here doing this review. But I wanted to be honest about it. But this is something that I had been thinking, and if I had not mentioning it to you, I would be just like lying or, you know, hiding some facts and all that stuff. Now, my point here is this is not for everybody because a lot of people are probably going to say, yeah, it's one trick pony. They have the fast songs and they have these Nordic kind of riffs, especially the Norwegian and Swedish style of stuff. So what's the news here? Nothing really. I mean, you have heard these kind of albums, many, many times, probably hundreds. And the thing here is, yeah, but a lot of those bands are not that good. None of those releases are that good. Nordjevel, are they doing something new and, unique, original and all that stuff? Maybe not, but at least they're doing it the good ways. So comparing it to some of the classic ones I just mentioned, Marduk and Mayhem in the forefront, yeah, that means these guys are probably a lot better than a lot of other bands working roughly in the same area. Now, 50 minutes of this style might be way too much for a lot of people out there. I mean, when you're just bombarding the, ears and receptors of the brain with a lot of fast-paced drumming, it can kind of do a little bit of, how to say, numb you down in a way. But also, when you have those good riffs and tempo changes, it's not that evident that 50 minutes is too much. Now, once again, I had a little bit of lesser expectations because, I figured out maybe this is just one of those bands that is doing the kind of a Marduk style, and after a couple of songs, you start kind of wearing down, and like, yeah, it's good, but is it that good? And now I can say, yeah, it's that good. Is it phenomenal like the Mystery System Satanas? Let's not go that far. But yeah, this is ready to challenge a lot of those albums, especially from basic Marduk albums. And mind you, in my opinion, Marduk on average is a good band. Sometimes they are great, sometimes maybe not that great, but overall Marduk is some kind of a band that you can pretty much go and pick just any album and you're still very happy with the results. That applies to Gnavhòl as well, because this is some kind of album that maybe doesn't really leave you lots of interesting details that you will remember. It's not like this is made of super catchy songs like the Mysteries, them Satanas out there. But this is still something that whenever you give it a spin, you kind of like, yeah, I like it. This is what happened to me today. I was giving this multiple listens, and whenever I was thinking like, maybe this is not that good, and I gave it another spin, I was like, okay, actually it makes me smile, and by that I mean it makes me smile because it's dark, it's violent, it's aggressive. It's what I'm looking for black metal. That's not only the fast tempo because a lot of music what I do like also in black metal and death metal, is that when you are able to do interesting tempo changes, a lot of them happen in the mid-tempo areas. So going all blasting and all that stuff is not even necessary. But of course, when you have a good drummer who is able to do that, well, yeah, it kind of also gets better. And even those riffs, which might be in a lot of cases, kind of a filler material, become a lot better when you actually deliver the certain kind of aggression. So yeah, some people might be bored with the high tempo and all the machine gun firing, but at least I enjoy it, and that's what matters here. Obviously, I mean, this is my channel, not yours. Oh, jokes aside, this is something that you should give yourself a chance. Was out already in September 23rd in 2022, so roughly 6 months old by now, but definitely worth checking out. In my opinion, one of the better albums of year 2022, which I got to miss back in the days, so I am happy to talk about it right now. So what are you waiting for? Start listening. You will find links provided in the description box, and let's keep our thumbs up for Nordjevel interview to happen and take place, because now I really got me interested in that. So see you soon with more reviews and interviews coming away. Take care. Bye bye.